Hi, my name is Eric Aycock. I'm the Director of Safety here at White Oak Transportation. Today you'll be going through orientation, and if you're watching this, I'm not here. I usually like to do these in person, but I will be going through the handbook. So if you would, take out your White Oak Transportation handbook, and if you would turn to page 2, you will see a list of policies and summary items there. Any of those that are marked with an asterisk will be the ones that you will sign off on the sheet that Victoria should be giving you right now. So, first off, welcome aboard. We want you as drivers to drive in a manner that you are never in an accident, whether it's your fault or not. We will absolutely assume that you are professional drivers, which is why you have been selected for this process, and then asked to come on board here at White Oak. So we hire approximately 10% of our applicants. So if we've hired 50 drivers this year, we've gone through at least 500 applications, which goes to show that you should be the cream of the crop, and we expect you to drive that way. Okay, so we'll start on page 34, and page 34 is our progressive disciplinary process for preventable crashes. All of these warnings are considered active for 2 years, and the policy is as follows. The first preventable crash is a final written warning and a 1-day dispatch suspension without pay. The second preventable crash would be termination of employment after a review of all relevant circumstances has taken place. The first preventable crash due to backing, hitting a stationary object, or a rear end accident is up to and including termination on the first offense. We made this policy effective January 1 of this year. After 2016, we had 77 accidents. Of those accidents, 53 of those were preventable, and of those preventable accidents, 49 of those were backing, hitting stationary object, or rear end. This year, our numbers are a lot lower. It seems that this policy has helped, and our main focus was to eliminate any driver complacency. So we had found that our crashes with backing, hit stationary object, rear end were caused by drivers with at least 10 years of experience. And so it's not the new drivers or the inexperienced drivers. So we always, we want you to be hyper aware of your surroundings. Keep your following distance at a safe level, and just get out and look. Take your time. Nothing that we haul is that important. We'll never ask you to go over your hours, coerce you into driving in hazardous road conditions. But with that comes a responsibility on your part that you need to take care of our equipment and the public, motoring public. All right. Page 35, leaving the organization. If there comes a time where you decide to move on, we certainly understand that. We would like to have an opportunity to sit down and talk with you before you do. We'd also like at least 2 weeks' notice. We feel that's just the right thing to do. An employee that does not provide White Oak with at least 1 week notice before voluntarily terminating their employment will not be eligible for rehire. Probably about 30 to 40% of the drivers that leave here will give us at least a week notice, and they're always hired back. Drivers that give us a 1-day, a 1-day notice, it really puts us in a bind operationally. So we ask that you do that for just continuity of operations. An employee who voluntarily terminates their employment within the 90-day probationary employment period, which is what you'll be under right now, will be deducted $200 from the employee's final paycheck. And this is to reimburse our company for HR costs, drug tests, advertising, orientation, everything that's involved in onboarding a new driver. An employee that fails to give notice of employment termination, which is we call it no-call, no-show, will be deducted $200 from their final paycheck. An employee who terminates employment while attached to a load and fails to complete the assigned and accepted load will be deducted $250. For example, if you pick up a load in Indiana, you're supposed to deliver it in Mobile, and you come through Decatur, you put the truck on the yard, clean it out, don't tell anybody. That's a $250 deduction. An employee who abandons the truck will be deducted $350 for towing and recovery costs. Now, keep in mind, it's either one. It's not all of these applied to one driver. It'll be one of the four. So we wouldn't charge anyone $900 if they did all of these. So, next, page 37 is our Stop Work initiative, and let me read this, and then I'll kind of explain what we want to do here. The Stop Working initiative on page 37, down at the bottom. The safety and health of every employee at White Oak is a core value and responsibility for the White Oak management team. When faced with any potential dangerous activity, for example, entering and exiting the truck, make sure you use your 3-point contact. Pre- and post-trip, backing, loading or unloading freight, driving conditions, we ask that you take a few seconds to plan out your activity. Trucks are not to be driven unless they are safe and violation-free. Pre- and post-trip should be conducted with care and specificity. Your dispatch managers will not coerce you to drive in any unsafe conditions or in a truck that may be a potential hazard. The Stop Work initiative is your ability to protect yourself from harm and any CSA violations that may occur. We ask that you communicate any deficiencies or hazardous situations to your manager immediately, day or night. In a nutshell, when you're backing, you always need to get out and look. When you're stepping out of the vehicle, before you step out, you want to look to make sure that the steps are clean of debris. Make sure that you're standing on solid ground when your foot hits the ground. You're not stepping off in a hole or a curb or something like that may result in an injury. Be careful when you're opening doors on loaded trailers. Just take a few seconds is all we ask, just to plan out. I'm about to do this. Hop out of the truck. I need to do my 3-point stance, and I need to look to where I'm going. And take your time with these things. If you come to a point where maybe you're taking a right turn and you're maybe about to hit a pole, just get out and stop. Call your dispatcher if you need to. Take a few minutes. Avoid the accident at all costs. All right. Page 46 is cargo claims, loss and prevention control. And I'll read this to you. When loading a load, you as the driver are responsible for the proper loading, tie-down, protection, and safety of the load. You are responsible for the entire load in all respects during transit and completion of unloading. Make sure you get good scale tickets. You get CAT scale tickets. If something happens and the CAT scale is inaccurate and you get an overweight ticket, the CAT scales will reimburse us. Do good in pre- and post-trip inspections. If you're dropping a trailer somewhere and that trailer needs attention, make sure you communicate that with your manager or the breakdown number, because the next driver that may pick up that trailer may be you, and you're going to cost yourself a lot of time. If there's any holes in the roof, make sure you get those looked at and addressed, before preloading. Okay. Page 51 If you have an accident, a couple things you need to do. First off, you need to call your dispatch manager. There may be some logistics with a load that you're on that they will need to make arrangements for. The next call should be to me. You should have my card stapled to your green folder. You call my cell phone number, and if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, that's fine. I want to talk to you and get some information. Okay, so the couple things you would need to do is obviously stop, put out your warning devices, and secure the scene. You want to take pictures, take lots of pictures of the surrounding area, of the car or the truck, your vehicle, whatever you need to do. Don't admit fault. Don't go up and say, it's my fault, my bad. Even if it is, we don't say anything. The only ones you talk to it would be myself, the police, and the insurance, and that's it. If you need to swap information with the driver, go ahead and do that. Call 911. If there's anyone seriously injured, try to help them, but keep your distance. Don't put yourself in any peril. Okay. Next, page 54 is our driver safety policy, and this is just kind of our overall goals and expectations. And I'll read it. A lot of self-explanatory that we've already been discussing. The basic principles is protection of the public and the safety and health of every employee. We want to identify and correct any hazards you may find, and safety will be given a priority, especially over shortcuts and or expediencies. So don't skip anything, any processes at the expense of your safety or the safety of someone else. There will be no compromise of rules and procedures wherever safety is involved. All employees shall comply with the company's safety, health, and environmental laws and regulations. Driver's responsibilities is the adherence to all company safety policies, setting an example through your own safe performance, communicating positively with driver managers and other employees, 100% compliance with safe work standards and practices, maintaining awareness of your capabilities to perform your job safely, recommending training or safety program changes. We don't expect that we know everything, and we certainly want to hear from you. Informing the Director of Safety of any changes in your operations, potential hazards that require action. Again, something doesn't look right out there, a customer asks you to do something that just doesn't sound right, call me. I'll be happy to discuss anything with you. Again, it goes back to our Stop Work initiative. We just don't want to get in a hurry. Never, ever get in a hurry. Page 55 is our safety and bonus plan. It's also tied to performance, and each qualifying driver will receive $100 each quarter, and the qualifying driver will be eligible for a random cash drawing done each quarter. And to qualify those for the bonus program, you need to do the following. You can't have any accidents, no dispatch issues, which means you need to be on time, no unexcused absences, good attitude, truck cleanliness. Guys, over-the-road drivers need to leave out, Sunday night or early Monday morning. Don't wait till 2 or 3 o'clock on Monday to leave. You're not going to make any miles, and we're not going to get our freight moved. No CSA driving violations, including speeding tickets, or preventable vehicle maintenance. This is where pre- and post-trips go. Don't drive that truck if there's something wrong with it. No logging violations. Needs to attend all quarterly safety meetings and complete all required training. No cargo claims, and must be a driver that currently performs a safety-sensitive function. No negative smart drive camera events. And then since I won't be there today, I can I ask you, come by and I'll show you our cameras. We are installing cameras that are forward-facing and rear-facing, and what we're doing on that is trying to proactively assess risk and to protect our drivers from any wrongful lawsuits or accidents. It has worked already. We have had a number of accidents that our drivers were exonerated from, simply because they have the camera forward and rear facing. The rear facing camera is really not anything that we really want to spy on our drivers and kind of see what they're doing, but we want to make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. You're not on your phone, things of that nature. And when you are in an accident, we can certainly see that, hey, our driver did everything to prevent that accident, and here's the proof to show it. And we'll absolutely have your back on those. Tampering with equipment, it is a direct violation of White Oak policy to tamper, remove, unhook, unplug, or destroy any property of White Oak Transportation and Logistics. This includes the OmniTrack electronic logging device or the Smart Drive camera system. So don't cover the camera up. Don't unplug your e-logs. Those are terminable offenses. PPE, before you leave here today, make sure you get a vest, a seatbelt cover, and a fifth wheel puller, and a pair of safety glasses. And Victoria or Ryan can take care of that for you. Make sure you wear proper footwear, no flip-flops or open-toed sandals. Tennis shoes are fine, but some places that you go, you'll have to wear pants, such as IP Prattville. You have to wear boots. But do not go into a customer unprepared and have the wrong footwear or pants, shorts, whatever. Let's see, page 58 is our fifth wheel policy. We'll give you a fifth wheel pin puller, and you are required to use those. They're very self-explanatory to use. Page 59 is our cell phone policy. Our cell phone policy is basically no texting while driving. If you have a headset, by all means use it. We do ask you to keep those conversations to a minimum. If you're caught using a handheld mobile device, it's a pretty hefty fine to you and a large fine to the company as well. Page 61. We do not allow passengers or riders in company equipment. Pets or animals are not allowed inside company-owned vehicles. The only rider or passenger in your vehicle would only be a White Oak authorized employee. Out of route miles, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. This is for egregious abuse of equipment. Say if you get in your truck on Saturday, you're not under dispatch, and you decide to, just go riding around, and you go 50 miles down the road and just tool around. Well, we can't do that. It is against our policy. You're not covered our insurance when you do that. So if the truck is not being used for company business, it needs to stay parked. All right. Page 72. The hours of service violation, progressive discipline policy. We'll certainly give you a grace period to learn your OmniTrack. Certainly don't leave here today without a good understanding of the policy and how to work that OmniTrack. But if we do see where you need some training, and that's what this policy will kind of lay out. If we see you're having trouble, we're going to bring you in. We're going to do the best in you. DOT wants to see. They just want to see us get rid of a guy that obviously has some issues with hours of service or on duty times. Plan out your day, and make sure you take those breaks when you need to. As far as over-the-road drivers, you should never have an 11 or 14. Plan your day out. When you get to 10 hours driving for the day, you need to start looking for a place to shut down, and don't wait till 15 minutes before your time is up to do that. Personal conveyance is page 73, and which is pretty straightforward. You can use personal conveyance only when you are going home and you are unladen, or in other words, you don't have a trailer attached to your truck, and that's it. If you're on your way to pick up a load and you're bobtailing, that's not personal conveyance. It's only when you are done for the day or you're leaving you drop the trailer at Smith Company and you're taking the truck home, that's personal conveyance, and that's the only time that you're allowed to use it. There are some scenarios here on page 74 and 75. Feel free to read those. And the last thing I'll go over is page 76, which is our driver violation progressive discipline. These are roadside CSA violations. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not very concerned with tickets or warning citations. We really like to hone in on the CSA violations. So you'll see cargo securement there, first, second, third offense, preventative vehicle maintenance. There's 5 things that we get hit with the most: tires, lights, windshields, non-secured fire extinguishers or discharge fire extinguishers, and reflective tape. Make sure your reflective tape is on your mud flaps and then the L's that are on the back of your cab. If you got those 5 things, you're going to be okay, pretty much. We don't really consider brakes something that's preventable. Roto type clamp, brake out of adjustment, those things, we don't expect drivers to be mechanics. So, driver fitness, make sure you have your valid commercial motor vehicle license and medical card. We'll do everything we can do to update those. We have a good track record with that. If you require glasses on your license, make sure that you have them on. If you get a violation, that's where that will go under. Now, unsafe driving, speeding under 15 miles an hour and following too close if first offense. If any of these things happen, the first offense is a final written warning and a 3-day unpaid dispatch suspension. So as long as it's under 15 miles an hour, or it's just following too close, that's what will happen there. If it's a combination of speeding and following too close, then it will be a serious movement violation, and that will be termination. So, first offense for serious violations would be obviously the combination of speeding and following too close, or reckless driving, unauthorized passenger in a commercial motor vehicle, texting or using handheld mobile device in a commercial motor vehicle, speeding greater than or equal to 15 miles an hour over the posted limit, accumulation of 24 CSA points in a 12-month period, radar detector use in a commercial motor vehicle, failing to use a seatbelt in commercial motor vehicle, inattentive driving, failure to maintain lane that is leading to an accident, or improper or erratic lane change in a commercial motor vehicle. Now, these policies are obviously subject to change if we see that we start getting hit with a lot of violations that we need to address. We will change our policy to address those. So if you have any questions, feel free to get with Ryan or Victoria. I won't go over the drug and alcohol policies. Do know that you will be in a random pool that we will test quarterly, and when you're asked to take a drug test, you need to go that day. Failure to do so will come back as a positive test because of a refusal, and then you'll have to go through the drug SAP program, which nobody wants to do. So again, welcome aboard. Thank you for your time. Please come and see me on the cameras. I would love to show you a demo on that. Again, my card is in your green folder. Feel free to call, stop by. My door is always open. Thank you.